appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to CoreTV News at 7. I am Gift Ogete. A blast has been reported in the Sabongari area of Kano City in Kano State. Though CoreTV News gathered that scores were feared dead, details of the actual number of casualties are still hazy. The explosive device was said to have been hidden in a bag close to the El Dorado cinema. We will bring you more on the development as it unfolds. In a related issue, former head of state and chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammad Buhari, narrowly escaped the second blast as a suicide bomber targeted his convoy hauling the explosive device on it. CoreTV News learned that one of the cars in the convoy was badly damaged, while the Prado Jeep conveying the former head of state was torched. His bodyguards and escorts had to move Buhari from his car into another to take him away. Another version says the suicide bomber who rode in a Siena's car rammed into the convoy of the former head of state. More than 50 cars were damaged in the second blast, according to the eyewitnesses. Most of the people that died in the first blast were adherent of the Darika Islamic sect led by Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi. Eyewitnesses say the lone bomber, whose target was the Sheikh, rode on a motorbike and followed the convoy of the Islamic cleric after the lecture. He was reportedly overpowered by security operatives who blocked him after he was suspected. He forced his way and detonated the explosive, throwing the entire area into serious confusion. However, the explosion only affected the tail end of Sheikh Bauchi's convoy, but others were not so lucky and died in the process. Many of the captors were conveyed to the Nigerian Army Reference Hospital in the metropolis and other hospitals in the state. The All Progressives Congress is demanding an investigation into what it insists was an attempt on the life of its national leader, Muhammad Buhari. Party chairman John Odige Oyegun stated the party position in an interview with journalists in Abuja. He appealed to Buhari supporters to exercise restraint, but blamed some elements in government for Wednesday's gun and bomb attacks.
We have called for an investigation. That is clear. We have called for two things we did. We appealed to his teeming followers and followers of the APC to please maintain the peace. And for peace to reign, we also called on the government of President Jonathan to institute immediately a believable, credible inquiry to unearth what is in fact going on. Why would they want to target General Buhari? And indeed, why Boko Haram?
So, sir, is the position of the party that this was an assassination attempt on?
If a child dies the morning after the witch flies over at night, isn't there a connection? Or are they going to tell us that they don't know what is happening in this country? We are not government. We have a right to think what we think, because government is not delivering on its part of the battle. They are in charge of security. They are in charge of protecting our lives.
Niger, Chad and Cameroon are ready to join Nigeria in creating a 280 or 28,000-man military force to combat Boko Haram, which they accept poses a growing regional threat despite only being localized in Nigeria. CoreTV learned that the country is to present 700 soldiers each to the force in another effort to mount a regional response to Nigeria's terrorism challenge. Niger's Minister of Defense, Karidio Mohamadu, was quoted as saying at the end of a meeting with his counterparts from the three countries that the step is a proof of commitment towards eradicating insurgency. Commencement date of the force and its location were not given. The announcement comes less than a day after several people were killed in 2 blasts in different parts of Kaduna State. The police authorities have signed a training agreement with the U.S. Department of State's Bureau for International Narcotics and Law Enforcement. The agreement was signed by Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar and the American Ambassador James Entwistle. Under the pact, the Nigeria Police will benefit from the International Police Education and Training Program run and funded by the U.S. authorities. The Memorandum of Understanding is also expected to cover counter-terrorism operations.
Training is as key as what you do on a daily basis. If you don't have the expertise, you cannot be effective, you cannot be efficient, and you cannot discharge responsibilities as expected of you. The signing of this MOU, Your Excellency, is the beginning of that partnership and partnership that works between the two countries. It's an record that even in our training institution, the Police Staff College in Jos, the first building of the Police Staff College in Jos was built with assistance of the United States.
I think it's quite obvious. As a partner of Nigeria, a stronger Nigerian police force leads to better security around Nigeria, better security throughout West Africa, and the stability and the security of Africa is obviously in the interest of the U.S. and the rest of the world.
In a related development, the police has put together a document on counter-terrorism strategy with the support of UK Department for International Development. The handbook was formally presented to the Inspector General of Police at a press ceremony in Abuja.
The Nigerian police force doesn't need the intelligence of external bodies. It doesn't need us to tell the Nigerian police force what needs to go into a strategy in any of these areas. All we did was facilitate this, bring it together, and bring some examples of best practice from outside to bounce off the Nigerian police officers who work with us. So I firstly want to make that absolutely clear. This is an MPF document, and we're very proud that we've been able to support the MPF in producing the document. The second point I'd like to make is that going forward, strategies and plans are only as good as the extent to which they get implemented. And we, as a programme, are committed to supporting the MPF, and more importantly, perhaps, monitoring and evaluating those strategies to see whether they're the right ones, to see whether the policies and actions that flow from these actually do address the problems and assist in the process of recalibrating the strategies as we move forward.
This document was not written by them alone, because if you go through the document, you will see the contribution of officers and men of the training department, that of the DIG training, members of management, and that of the Inspector General of Police. So therefore, it's a combination of partnership, bringing in the best practices, experience, expertise, technical know-how, and bundle of knowledge.
The UK department collaborated with the police in putting together the document to support the counter-terrorism measures of the police. The FID handed over strategic guidelines on counter-terrorism to the Nigerian police. The guidelines are covered 8 other core areas of policing. The stage is finally set for the impeachment of the Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Al-Mokaru or Makura, following the directive by the lawmakers for the Chief Judge to set up an investigative panel. But the 4 members of the All Progressives Congress in the House are crying foul. They insisted that they were barred from the chamber when their PDP colleagues made their move under tight security. Pa Samo reports from Lafia, Nasarawa State.
The impeachment saga in Nasarawa State has taken a new dimension. 20 PDP lawmakers who are keen on removing the governor sat in the early hours of Wednesday morning. They have since directed the Chief Judge to constitute a 7-man panel to investigate allegations of gross misconduct leveled against him. These opposition members, 4 in all, say they were denied access to the chambers.
We are the only people within this complex today, 4 APC members. The PDP members have run away because they know what they did is unpopular, is anti-people, is anti-growth, is anti-development, therefore is indiscipline. And indiscipline is not acceptable.
To stave off the impeachment, Governor Almakura met with some lawmakers and traditional rulers at the government house. And while the meeting was on, the governor's media aide gave an insight on the development.
Well, information reaching us indicates that members of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly had a sitting this morning and have resolved directing the CJ, that's the Chief Judge of Nasarawa State, to constitute a panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against His Excellency, the Governor of Nasarawa State, Umar Tanko Almakura. As a government, we are studying this development very closely, and at the end of the day, we will convey to the public government's official position as a consequence of our response to the development from the State House of Assembly.
PDP lawmakers who are driving the process have since left Lafia after their early morning sitting. But when CoreTV news crew attempted to make telephone contact with the spokesman of the House, Baba Ibaku, this was what transpired. In the midst of all this, residents of Lafia do not appear comfortable with the impeachment process.
I don't know why our governor, they want to impeach our governor, because our governor is really working than before. At least I can remember far back, last 4 years, all the roads are very bad, but this year I can see he's improving, so I don't know why they are impeaching him. So I beg on them to better leave our governor for us.
I am in support of the administration of Almakura. He has given us free education. He constructed roads, as you can see. Lafia is far better than it was with previous administration, so it should not be impeached.
For now, they have to wait for the chief judge to set up a panel which will examine the case against Almakura. At the polls in 2011, the people of Nasarawa State made their choice, which produced the current leadership in the state. But the people will have to wait patiently to see to the end of the impending impeachment saga that is ongoing in the state against the governor. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Lafia.
Away from that, the Osun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has written an open letter to President Goodluck Jonathan, accusing him and the Osun chapter of the PDP and INEC, and plans to rig the August 9 governorship election. Rashid has details.
In the build-up to the August 9th governorship election in Osun State, the All Progressives Congress leadership has written an open letter to President Goodluck Jonathan, accusing him of using federal government apparatus to cause havoc in the state ahead the election.
PDP will invade Osun State with soldiers and other security forces about a week before the election in Osun to intimidate citizens.
All Progressives Congress further accused the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of connivance with the People's Democratic Party to rig the forthcoming election.
A military force, a military camouflage, we flood the state and terrorize citizens. They will be harmed for war like terrorists to strike fear into people and scare most of them from the polling booths.
In a swift reaction, the PDP faulted APC's allegations and described it as spurious and unfounded.
That's a funny allegation. The Osun State PDP does not have power to deploy soldiers. The only person that has the authority to deploy soldiers is the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That is going to deploy enough security personnel that no miscreants or hooligans or thugs will be able to disrupt the election that is going to be conducted, which is going to be peaceful.
Political parties in the state have been engaged in a war of words on planned rigging of the election.
And no intimidation from any quarter. We are battle ready. I know we don't have gun, but they should tell them these are people who are empty.
APC is an opposition, and they are going to lose this state, inshallah, in Jesus' name. And they have seen that, and that is why they are preparing ground for them to say something after they must have lost the election. They are bad losers, and there is the need for us to talk to their leadership that they should be a good leader.
Observers have advised political parties to put the peaceful conduct of the election at heart and to ensure their supporters conduct themselves peacefully. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
Lagos State branch of the Nigerian Bar Association paid tribute to the late activist and legal practitioner Bamidele Aturu. Many of his colleagues described him as a courageous fighter who stood for the good of the common man. Olajimoke Olatunji has details.
The Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association gathered in hundreds to pay tribute to the late lawyer whose sudden passing away, the lawyers say, has left a big gap in the association. Chairman of Afenifere Group, Shukwo Shonibare, described late Aturu as a fighter, while the chairman, Human Rights Commission, Chidi Odekalu, says Aturu is a man of integrity.
He was a man who identified with the plight of the powerless, the weak, the oppressed people in the society. A combative soul. I'm sure that a soul of people like him will definitely rest in perfect peace.
Honesty, truthfulness, and sharp intellect. He was the best human being I knew.
Bamidele Francis Aturu was born on the 16th of October 1964, a native of Ondo State. Aturu studied law at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, and was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1995. Also a member of the Lagos State Governing Council of the Office of the Public Defender. Legal practitioners say he would be missed in the Nigerian judiciary system for his truthfulness. Aturu is set to stand for justice during his lifetime, fighting the good of the common man.
This is a man that is stood by his conviction, and his conviction is always tallying and is always at agreement with the yearnings and aspirations of the downtrodden members of this country.
Yeah, Bamidele Aturu will be remembered for many things, but for me particularly, as a friend, somebody I had come to know at very close quarters, I will remember him for his contributions in the law of libel.
Aturu legacy could be gleaned from all what he has written, the voluminous book, and I can tell you that his legacy will never be erased. And for the Nigerian judiciary, what we are saying is that what is truthful, fighting for democracy and rule of law should be paramount in the mind of every Nigerian, not even the good possession alone.
He will be remembered for his strict adherence to the rule of law, promoter of justice, and the defender of the poor. He is always on the side of the poor, irrespective of whose ox is God.
Deeply painful, but you could see that a short life but very impactful, one dedicated to the service of the masses, one in which any man driven by the sense of humanity would like to emulate. He was a personal friend, a beacon of hope, and he provided leadership.
The late Bamidele Aturu is gone to glory and would be remembered for his crusade against oppression. He will be buried on the 25th of July in his hometown in Ondo State. Olajimoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
May he continue to rest in peace. The regular host of the popular Inside Out TV program, Agatha Mata, says the Nigerian media should retract its steps to the essence of journalism and quit the practice of glorifying financial gains over good content. Motailo was at the press briefing held in the news station's premises and filed in this report.
A new addition to broadcasting industry in Nigeria is Rave TV, a broadcast outfit proposed to air on Concert and StarTimes cable channels. Chief Executive Officer of Rave TV says the outfit is focused on introducing the quality of previous programs produced in Nigeria aimed at sustaining Nigerian cultural values. Agatha says money is not a decisive factor for having a program on a channel, but quality and originality.
The only way we as Rave TV will put money into your production is because we know that we have an ace when it comes to marketing and selling it. And that is really how we want to run it. So if you are not interested in leaving it with Rave TV, so to speak, and we think the content is good, the most that will happen is that we would have a 50-50 sharing arrangement, whatever that means. Which means both of us will be marketing it, but you still will not have to pay a tax.
All the management staff of Rave TV say they are a unique feature that would differentiate the new TV station from its contemporaries across the country.
Rave TV is seeing TV from a different angle. It's interactive, it's entertaining, it's all in one, all packed in one.
The Rave TV you have is not the Rave TV that dwells more on movies and musicals. It dwells more on programs that are educative. We have belts. One of the things that makes us different is that even the teenagers, they have their own belts. They have something to watch out for. We have a program that we have only the teenagers on that program. That's the teenagers doing their thing.
Like every new project, the concern is usually on its sustainability and the future of the TV station. Amata says the goal that sustained the program for 17 years will provide the needs for a successful outcome of Rave TV. Omota Yoalo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
What can we say then? Say congratulations, Rave TV team. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV News at 7. Peace talks between Central Africa's sectarian rivals were suspended after the ex-rebels Seleka Group failed to show up less than a day before the deadline of a deal. The two main negotiating sessions of the talks being held in Brazzaville, one on securing an end to hostilities, the other on disarming fighters in Central African Republic, were subsequently suspended. The third workshop on the political transition went ahead at the request of the regional grouping ECCAS, according to a member of the Congolese Organizing Committee. The Congolese sources say delegates from the mainly Muslim Seleka had been provided with a copy of the draft accord for the talks. About 170 Central African officials had taken part, including members of Transitional President Catherine Samba Panza's government, lawmakers, envoy from armed groups, political parties and civil society. It was unclear what the draft accord for the Brazzaville talks contained, but delegates referred to a radio report in which the head of the Seleka delegation, Mohamed Moussa Dafan, demanded that a power-sharing division for CAR as a precondition to any peace settlement. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you for watching us. Join us again. I am Gift Ogete. Do not forget, 9:45 will be primetime news. Join us then.